Like it's the seed of, when you hear Asili, it's the germ, the seed of a culture. The core, that thing that births culture. Do you get that? So it is the cultural essence, the ideological core, the matrix of a cultural identity, which must be identified in order to make sense of the collective creation of its members. So in order to understand the European Western culture, you must identify the asili, their essence, the core, what makes them do what they do. Because if you just look at what they do, you might not understand the reason behind the force that is making them do that. And I will always connect this book to the previous book that we studied, the Chekanta Job, the African civilization book, where you were asking me questions about if the Western culture actually originated from the African culture in a way, because ancient Greek and all those people went to Egypt and trained there. All the big Western philosophers trained in Egypt and in a way stole the Egyptian knowledge, the ancient black African knowledge, and developed it to their benefit and their advantage. So, and you ask me a question in terms of how come then that they become more advanced, more developed technologically and all that, and us, like here is where we are. Remember, we had that, and that keeps coming all the time. And I know I always explain it, like based on what Chekanta Job says, that we did not need it after we started migrating inward of the continent, because the land was more cooperative. The land, it was easier to live. We did not need to develop big technology to live. So we could farm, we could do things, we can get everything we wanted readily available. But when we were in the Nile, in Egypt, we were facing hardship from a geographical position, from a even a cultural and many and from many realities in Egypt. The geographical location of Egypt presented so many challenges that we needed to face, and in order to face them we needed to be creative. That is how we started developing that technology and science. Our ancestors there started studying the cosmos, the universe, and understanding that we as human beings were a representation of that cosmos. We bear within ourselves figments and seeds and essence of the universe. So in order for us to understand ourselves as human being, we must first understand the way the universe works. That was the philosophy of our ancestor in Egypt. And they came up with like as below so above, right? Like the way it is out there is the same way as it is in here. So that required a different way of thinking, spending years and decades and even not even millennia to document the changes in the universe, the move of all these, the planets and the stars and the day and the night and the gods and the spirit and all of this, and also our own land, the nature, the river, the Nile that was there, why it was moving the way it was moving, and because agriculture is also a fundamental part of African culture, because they needed to feed themselves. The whole economy was really around agriculture, and agriculture in Egypt depended very much on the Nile. So they wanted to understand how the Nile functioned, how the Nile works, in order to make sure that they have enough reserve of food. So there are so many reasons why they needed to develop technology and science and knowledge and philosophy and all of these things. But that is there. That when we started moving inward in the continent, we weren't facing any more such challenges. Things were easier. So our need for high level technology and all those things were not there anymore. So we started just adapting to the new reality. And because at the core of African being is more community oriented, more valuing life, we did not develop our cosmogony in an aggressive way in terms of making profit, go and defeat the opponent and take everything, and even though we have our internal tribal war, but there were ways to deal with that, right? As opposed to carry on large scale invasion of countries and places and dominate and take the riches and take over all of that. That was not really in our cosmology, right? So why then not the Western cosmology, even after taking the African knowledge and wisdom, became so bellicose, so aggressive, right? We had that conversation, and that's why this woman is trying to now get in the belly of the beast so she can understand what makes them do what they do and how do they do that. And in order to do that, you must understand the concept of Asili, which she defines here as the core, that essence. Okay, so this one could be like a mixture of making made up term, but also borrowed from a culture where she was studying this term. So that is a little bit how you should understand that. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, because when she says on page 13, well, let's even go to page 12 when she talks about it. Uh, that paragraph there, second paragraph, Asili as a conceptual tool for cultural analysis refers to the explanatory principle of a culture. So she already defined it there, but she's telling you again here. It is the germinal principle of the being of a culture, its essence. So she couldn't emphasize it anymore. Like, it's pretty clear what Asili is here.